You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Welcome to Any Given Sunday on this beautiful Sunday. It's your boy Steve. I got my man Lamar with me today.
Yo.
Today we got Richmond's very own, the chosen one, Immanuwel Aleem with us, man. We appreciate you for coming out. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for
Yes,
having
sir.
me.
Yes, sir.
The champ
is here. The champ is here. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna jump straight into it, man. You're from Harlem originally, right?
Queens.
Queens?
My mom had me in East Meadow Hospital.
East Meadow.
She didn't like Queens Hospital, so she went to East Meadow.
Okay.
Because all the kids were born there, but born in Queens.
Okay. So when did you come back? When did you come out to Richmond? When did you get out here?
My dad had to move out of New York probably like 96 or 97.
Okay.
So I was about 3 or 4. He came down, and I forgot where we first moved to. Because first he was going to Georgia, and he had got a job for be a correctional officer or whatever, and he stopped in Virginia.
Right.
So that I forgot where we was at, but that's when we came down. So been in Holland Park since 2000.
Okay. That's all right. So how was that transition like from New York to Virginia for you? Do you remember much of that? Or?
It definitely is different because I feel like, everything's up top is way more faster.
Right.
So, like, even just learning and doing stuff, we were just on the go. Coming down was just kind of different because everything was more, like, slowed down and chill.
Right.
So the transitioning was different growing up because the way you talk and everything.
Right.
Hanging around, how you think, because more people up in New York is like a lot of people and see everybody all the time and you don't worry about a lot of things. And down south was more like to themselves. And I kind of like got to get the best of both worlds.
Right.
So I understood, saying sometimes you can be too fast and sometimes you got to learn to not deal with people. So,
right.
Yeah.
So would you say you like the South better? You like New York? Which way you rocking with? You in the city, man. You got to say the city, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
They both got equal love for me, so I can't.
Right. So you got. I read that you got a brother that you kind of that inspired you to put the gloves on. So how was growing up with the sibling that kind of shared like passion with you for boxing and for your sport?
Well, honestly, to tell you if I didn't have a passion for boxing.
Okay.
And my brother, like I have a lot of brothers.
Right.
First of all, my dad was married probably a couple times, so he had about probably like 8 brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm the youngest, so I haven't met all of them.
Man.
I lived with my brother and my 2 sisters growing up, and he was just. I was more athletic. My brother was more geeky. He was goofy. He didn't want really get into things. He drew a lot, and then he wanted to try boxing. And I was fighting in the streets a lot and fighting in school.
Right.
And then my mom was like, my brother said he wanted to box, and my mom was like, "You want to box?" She would expect me because I'm the fighter. And
Right.
You gonna get your ass killed.
Right.
But then my dad went and found a gym, and I went to follow him. And ever since that day, I was like, "Shoot, I know I don't gotta get in trouble. You
could do it. Yeah. Well, you say you was getting in trouble a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
You feel like.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, no choice.
Even
Even when you try to get, they gonna make you work.
Right.
Put some work in.
You feel like that kind of put a little chip on your shoulder when it came down to it?
I feel like that's the grit that you get out of me when you see me fight. Is that Richmond grit? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's gonna build you to be tough, regardless. You know,
Right.
Like you could think you could be casual about it, but either you don't learn. You're going to deal with it. You
learn
got to
one
walk
way or
by us
another.
every day.
Yeah.
Every single day you're going to see us on the block or in school, and we're gonna test you.
Right.
So you get tested every day.
That's all right. So did you play like any other sports in school? Like
Yeah.
what else did you?
Basketball was my favorite sport still to this day.
Okay.
I wish I would have been a better baller if I was
Right.
dedicated as much, but I was in boxing too. So like I did soccer when I was a kid. I used to go to sparring camp, play soccer there. Then I played for I did play basketball for Prime Camp in middle school. And right after middle school, I go straight to boxing practice. I was at Chandler, played basketball on the basketball team. Then went to TJ, played on the basketball team. I didn't finish. What was that, junior year? Yeah, junior or senior year, one of them. But halfway, I didn't finish it. But I went back into boxing and stayed into it.
Okay.
But your brother was Your brother was ranked in boxing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, in the amateurs.
Junior Olympics or like Olympic.
Our nationals, we had national titles and top rankings on the national level.
What was your highest rank?
In the nationals, I was silver glove number 2, JO number 2 and 3, national pal I came in second. I was always like championship. I lost championship, or it was a lot of politics in it too. I don't want to downplay say everything's positive, but my brother like he had like a Muhammad Ali style, so they didn't
look like Muhammad Ali. Like he looked like young, like he looked, bro. He looked like the young Ali. Like if you go out, he looked like Will Smith. No bullshit, straight bald face. Lighter.
That's alright.
To him, like going back to how he started, he was real goofy. So boxing wise, we kind of put Richmond back on the scene in boxing because in the sport, nobody gave Virginia respect. They looked at us like walkovers. They was getting knocked out every time they go to fights. They looked at us like doo-doo. Right. Easy win, getting past. So once we came on the scene, my brother, he had his awkward style. So I look at him not like everybody else do. I look at him like a Michael Jackson, where it looks awkward, but this is him. This is how he is. So when he used to fight, he used to come his first fight, he had his hands down, Ali shorts, everything. Right. Doing the shuffle and everything. And they were just like, yo, they look at this kid just clowning and doing this, but he was beating the guys up. Right. And he started fighting top tier level guys, and he was doing the same thing. And they look at him like he's, like playing around and everything. Right. But he'll make them look bad because they can't hit him. And I'm like, that's not his fault that you can't, capitalize on his mistake.
Yeah, they like drunk man style.
Yeah, exactly. So every time he'll go to a tournament over the years, he'll win the first couple of days. He's the only guy like everybody we're in the tournament, national tournament. It could be like let's say like ringside. It was a ringside tournament, 500 fighters and coaches or whatever. Everybody 6 rings going at the same time. Everybody relieved to watch my brother fight. All the rings, like you just hear everybody say Ali. After that first day. The judges will go and say, hey, this Ali kid is doing this, he's not doing that. Then the next day they won't score for him. And he throw like 1,000,000 punches, no lie. Right. Like he'll just be letting his hands go. Like no way this dude throw a lot of punches in the round, not scoring. Right. Like one time in national, when he came out the third round, he came out 0 points. You're like, how the hell you get 0 points?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's OD. So who would you say inspired like your style of fighting?
My style, it was when I was younger, I was a big Joe Frazier fan. Like we all watched a lot of old school tapes coming up. Well, let me cut back. Fight Night is the reason why I really started fighting too. Okay. I used to play Fight Night a lot. I was a video game player, still to this day. And we used to play Fight Night in the crib, and then when my dad found the gym, we got into that. But Fight Night was one of the reasons, but I love Joe Frazier. My brother had the Ali style, and that's who I kind of modeled myself after early.
Right, that's tough. They
Drew Frazier, Tyson. Yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff like getting himself together because we had like a contract issue with our management and.
What's y'all signed together? At
the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, at the same time, and then like, it's been 8 years, first 5-year contract, and then we had re-signed, and his second re-sign was kind of a mistake, but he just waited. His contract should be expired now. But since he wasn't getting pushed in them years and stuff like that, it just his drive kind of kicked out of it. He had to get his life straight. He was like, you know what, get married, get a house, get all that. So he able to do that now. Then he felt like he was able to come back and start fighting.
Right. So how do you feel like boxing with you and your lifestyle? How do you feel like that's accommodated? I would guess say your lifestyle as well. Like
I feel like I bring myself into the ring. I think that's what makes me different, because I'm like how I fight is who I am. Right. It's like I'm quick. I'm smart. I take my time. Like I'm relaxed. Like I'm that person. I can give you that grit if you push me that way. Right. You know what I'm saying? But boxing it really did change me. It changed a lot and opened up a lot of doors for me.
Right. Cause I'm thinking, man, like you go from playing basketball, like a sport where you got teammates, and then when you in that ring, you by yourself, right? Yeah. So I know that's a lot of like discipline that you got to kind of work on to get yourself to that point. Yeah. As a youngin', like when you're training, you first start training, you're by yourself. So how does that work? Like mentally, like how did that shape you mentally? Going from seeing your teams all balling out together to having to be in that space, like
I always kind of been to myself a lot in my life, so it was kind of, I was kind of used to it. But I just kept studying. I just watch film and watch how they did it and watch like the Mayweathers and see how, and how they prepare themselves and model myself after that and see if this is how the best do it. I always seen that even when I played basketball, I try to check the best player and see how the best people do it and then try to mimic that. So watching boxing, I took that same approach, and I'll watch them and I see, okay, he's training like this, he's running like this, he's blocking out the noise and all that. So I just try to stay dedicated, just focus.
Right.
Don't forget it though. This shit a team sport.
Right.
You ain't got the right trainer, the right management team.
That's a fact.
It's a team sport at the end of the day. You might be in the ring by yourself.
Right.
But on the end of the day,
you take the punches, but
you taking the punches, but make sure
got everything together. So was that a big deal with you? I guess in boxing, how was the business for you? How did that kind of shape? I know once you go from just actually fighting to experiencing bigger caliber fighting. So tell us about that.
The thing about it now is right at that point where I'm like able to really acknowledge and know about that, because I turned pro at 18 years old. A lot of people don't, fighters don't do that. I feel like that's kind of a classic thing, because most fighters turn 20, and once they get a little experience, they in their 20s they turn. But after we failed the Olympics and we was close, we went to the Olympic. It was 3 tournaments to get you into the Olympic trials, and we kept getting knocked off every time we was getting close. So I just took that push to turn pro, and I just felt like I just wanted to compete. The athlete in me didn't care about the business part, and it was like, not that I just took anything, because once we got that manager, my dad got me my first fight. So I had my first fight, my first win with my family, and we got a knockout. But after that, we had another manager who, my dad had reached out to somebody, and they reached out to us, who managed Paul Williams, who was a 3-time world champion. And he seen how it was, and he wanted to give us a chance, so he gave us a contract for 5 years and have it push us and put us on TV and this and that. So that had happened, and I still didn't even care about the money, so I just wanted to compete. So I didn't know really how my career was going to be. It's almost like a music deal, where, it's in your contract. You look for stuff in your money and all that, and you don't realize what you signed already, till it had came. So, like I said, the business side, like now I'm at a stature where I done made a dent in boxing, and I done made some accolades and got a belt and all this. So now it's like that next level, and the money and what your worth is and all that. Now this is where it matters, and I'm like, oh shoot, I wasn't thinking about that in the beginning. If I would have been marketing myself and doing this focus from the beginning, I'd be different by now.
Right.
I feel like I done fought on TV 10 times, and I've done this and that, but I don't have a lot to show for it from the business part. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really nobody's fault but mine for not, realizing that and acknowledging at that point. But
right.
That's crazy.
No,
but I mean, it's the truth though. You got to understand that the love of the game or the love of whatever sport you playing in is different when it's somebody doing business.
Yeah.
Because if it's making money off of it, it's always a loophole. It's always a technicality. So with that being said, I know from us having conversations, but based on your previous management, so just speak on that experience and speak on how you started getting knowledge on the business side and where money was going, and how it kind of now you're more business conscious about that.
Well, I feel like the first 5 years felt smooth because everything was winning, everybody was doing good, so nobody seen anything. But when the re-sign and going forward, and I think the re-sign was when I took my first loss. I lost to Hugo Santino, and I had got knocked out, and that was a fight that shouldn't have happened the way it did. And I'm going to be honest about what happened, because a lot of people don't know the story of what happened, so y'all going to be the first ones to hear it. So going into that fight, I just came off of my win from 2017, beating Yevgen Kitrov, who was a gold medalist in the Olympics. He was undefeated. He had 500 amateur fights.
Was that the belt fight?
Say it again.
Was that the belt fight?
Yeah,
that was
Showtime.
Fight.
I fought on
Showtime
Showbox.
Fight,
On Javante Davis fought that night, his first title fight. Badu Jack fought the championship. So me going against him at that time, I wasn't even supposed to win. I was just the guy who was supposed to get somebody on his record. He was number 2 in the WBC, number 2 in the world. So he was going to get a title shot after that. So I come in, I knock him off, I win. Saying now business-wise, knowing if you're a business, you would think, okay, I'm in this. I just knocked off the number 2 guy. What's next for me? You know what I'm saying? If I beat the number 2 guy, should I be the next title in that spot? But after that win, I didn't really see personally. I didn't see nothing change. I felt like I went back to my same situation that got me. Like you win a big fight and don't see nothing. You know, like I didn't see the money wasn't really that big. The no interviews, no anything, nothing. It was like, you know what I'm saying, just keep working. So months happened, and then all of a sudden, manager come and say, hey, I got an opportunity for this fight, and it was in August. I'm like, that's 8 months later. You know, he tried to act like, you know, he had another fight, but my opportunity, he didn't want to get the fight at a certain time because of the weight or whatever, but he didn't. You know, my thing isn't with fights and weight. It's like if you tell somebody in advance, you would know to get away. If I know you're going to be fighting in June, tell you now, you'll be prepared. But just coming out the blue and saying this, and then we don't have it, now it became a rush thing. So when I got the Hugo thing, it was a rush thing. Like, oh, what you at? What's your weight at? What's this? Oh, man, we got to get down. I got this fight. And, you know, me, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to put the work in. Let's see, we got to fight. But it was like the pressure of burning me out and getting me in shape and everything. And I feel like I did everything to win the fight. Like, to tell the truth, I don't feel like Hugo, who's a good fighter, but I feel like I did everything to beat him. And even in the fight of the laws, I still was edging him on, had an advantage. It wasn't like I was getting teed off. It just got caught with a shot. But leading into that, I felt like I overworked myself with the personal trainer. I told him about it. I felt my legs was like kind of tight and everything, but they felt like just keep pushing through it. You know, it's going to be better once you get this win. So I'm like, okay, the motivation. I feel like I'm going to just work. So getting into the fight, we're fighting in Miami, Oklahoma. And it felt like the Landmark Theater. We in the middle of the street, you know what I'm saying, outside, you know what I'm saying, we fighting in the block. And I had to lose about a pound and a half. And that pound and a half kind of drained me a little bit. Because I could see it in my face. If I show y'all pictures, like I was like all bone for how much I would have had lost going into that. So I guess they seen it because we was walking. We got in the airport. It's weird when teams have to see each other before going in there. Because I'm always in the mad attitude. Like once this fight, I don't want to see you. I don't care about you until I get in the ring. So seeing them and acting all casual was like, whatever. But they must have seen me, thought I looked drained too. But you just seen it on my face. I had to lose a pound and a half or whatever. So I rehydrate, made weight and everything, and I forgot what weight I made. But got there to the fight. I think my manager's time was off because we was just waiting in the back. I'm a co-main. So when you're a co-main, you get treated different. Okay. You know, they'll escort you here. They come in and tell you. People come in and check on you every while. Hey, you good? You know, you got to wrap up at, you know, whatever time it is. We got 30 minutes to you, walk you out. Yeah. Nobody was anywhere. We was just up in upstairs. Just waiting there. Yeah, just waiting. Then my brother and them watching on their phone. The undercards, like, hey, they fighting. So we just sitting there. One referee come up, say, I'm your referee, give you my instructions, this and that. 20 minutes later, nobody came. So then my coach went to go find somebody, my assistant, and he came back and he said, we don't got enough officials. Y'all got to come downstairs and everything. So we come downstairs. They said it's time to get in the ring. I'm like, damn, I ain't warm up. I ain't put my stuff on and nothing. He's like, they asking for y'all now. Because going back into the room, my manager was like, no, we good. We fight at 9. Now realizing his clock is an hour back. We in Miami, Oklahoma. So the time it's a time difference.
Right.
So he thinking that we got time. We really didn't have time. Yeah. So when we get down, I had to rush and just put my stuff on. I ain't really get to warm up. Right. And I didn't feel like I hit the mitts for like 10 seconds and started walking. I seen my dad on the way out. I dap him up, this and that. But when I got in the ring, I just felt like I was sparring. It didn't feel like a fight. I didn't feel ready. He was already good. In the corner of my eye, I already seen him. He got his mitts on and everything before I even, started wrapping up. So I'm like, yeah, he's already prepared. Right. But just getting in there and I'm working. I feel like I'm beating them first round, and second round happened. And I was getting caught with a little easy stuff, and I hear my dad just saying, "Hey, put your hand up, or do this, stop reaching." I felt that, so I shook my head like I know he's saying like it's weird. My mom and dad, I just know their voice, no matter what. So when they speak, I can hear them, and then in that third round, I had a thing where I was gonna make him run into my left hook. So I said I'm gonna throw my right and catch him with my hook. So I said I'm gonna walk him down. So I switched my style. He was hitting me with a little small stuff. So he did a good move. He like stabbed me to the body and froze me. So once I shelled up, I squared myself up, which I should have done. And once I did that, I threw like this and dropped my hand. He threw a hook at the same time, and he snuck in and caught me. I didn't remember nothing till after I got up and got out the ring. They said I did some other stuff when I got up, you know what I'm saying? But they was clapping for me. So I said, I don't remember nothing. None of that. That's the first time I ever got caught in a fight. Right. But I was already I felt like I was winning. I was having the advantage, but just got caught at that moment.
Right. And I told him after the fight. I know not, that's like, when you always a champ.
Yeah.
It's like mentally fuck with you. When you be like, all right, now, the nigga got me. Yeah. Like, ain't nobody ever got me. Right. So how did that recovery happen?
It took time. It took a lot of time, because I felt like like I'm a person I'm real good at moving on, but the way my depression of it was like I try to act like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, affected by it.
Yeah.
And it was like really trying to accept like it happened to me.
Yeah.
Like really, like, it happened to me, but it didn't happen to me when I was like at my best. That's why I was able to accept it. And I'm like, okay, because I told him at the fight, you know, good fight, you won it. But if we ever get the chance to run it back, I would like to. And I don't know if my manager ever wanted to, but that didn't happen. And not to throw off, I'm still answering that question, but apparently I was supposed to have my belt on that night, but it got vacated. And my manager vacated the belt without telling me. And that's another business thing I didn't realize, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it affected me differently. It was just like looking on social media and seeing everybody post it, but they never post my success. I was 17-0 at the time.
Yeah.
I just beat the number 2 guy. Nobody was posting that. But as soon as I lost, every boxing thing was quick to show, and it was like, damn.
Right.
Like now it's like, man, I really get to see how they treat me. They treat you when you up and when you down, and then it's just like.
Like a 17-0 is like
that's a great record.
Yeah,
that's a great record.
17-0.
Niggas ain't even 17-0 in the streets.
Yeah.
You talking about 17-0 and
all my guys was like quality fighters.
Right.
And it was just like it took time to really digest and like no matter what it is, I have to accept that I have that L on that record. And that first L and getting caught, not even just losing, I got knocked out.
Right.
Cause I got knocked out. I didn't never think. I've always felt I was tough enough to go through anything. And that showed that no matter what. And even to that day, I watched the video. I probably watched that fight probably about 20 times. And I just look at myself and admire that I was trying to fight to get I could see the strength. Like I was trying, but I just couldn't do it.
Right.
And sometimes just like God is like, nah, you can't get up on this one. You can't win this one. But yeah, like it took a while for me to really like get the fire back, but I came back and I fought a fight in Maryland, and I won that one, and I came back and fought another tough guy.
And then with that draw, the second one.
Yeah, that one that was in Virginia against Korbov. So that really showed like I was still here. That was
that wasn't a draw to me. I didn't feel like it was a draw.
I didn't either.
I didn't feel like it was a draw.
And it's crazy because
we just watched the highlights too again because I was telling I was like a lot of those draws I was like the hit combos is just crazy. Like it's like I don't understand how you would even say that was a draw, but it's like you said, it's real political too. Where it comes to the scoring and all that. But judges, I'd be like you even said, you know, if you hit more punches, you land more punches. 9 times out of 10, you know, that uses the direction of the fight,
right,
especially if it's power punches. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, I got you.
Politics, man.
Was, like with Santino, it was crazy because to me he was the weakest fighter I ever got hit by. And it was like, I got caught by that. That's what kind of sits on me, too. Yeah. Like, hitting his punches was so soft, and it was like, damn, and they say it's not the hardest punch to hit. They catch you out, but I was like, damn, the nigga did not hit hard at all.
Yeah, no, you did. Oh, you opened up heavy on that jump, though.
Yeah. And that's why I looked at, because when I first got out,
other jump we was watching.
It was a fighter, Thomas Williams. He came back, because I used to train with him, and he was like heavyweight, and he was like, you good in the back? I was like, yeah, I'm all right, because I'm just still trying to accept what just happened. I don't know what happened, so my mind's trying to collect. And he was like, I was like, what happened? He was like, man, you ain't see it? And he showed me. And he was showing me on the thing. And I was just like looking at it. I was like, oh, damn. So I wasn't even mad once I seen my hand got dropped. So I was like, this is a fundamental mistake. That can be corrected.
Right.
Yeah, it ain't like, it's not like a toe-to-toe fight situation.
And then I didn't get punished. I feel like it was the blessing in disguise because a lot of fighters get punished in these moments and they never be the same. They be damaged goods. I was lucky just to get caught for a moment and be good.
Be able to bounce back from
it.
Yeah. So how was bouncing back from that, you know, or you know, from that into translating into like the next phase of your career? Like, how do you feel like that was like a stepping stone into the next phase of what your career would be after?
Well, everybody don't know what you're gonna be until you get tested, and I feel like I got tested. I took a loss. I came back and I fought. I came back with a win, and then I fought another top guy to show I'm still here. So that was like me showing that not only when you're at your top and what you do when you're at your low, you know what I'm saying? Like even mine's now, because I have my last 2 fights as L's, even though my last one shouldn't have been one. But
split decision.
Yeah, so it's just like, it still shows like what you do at the bottom, you know what I'm saying, to rise back up. So that's what I'm trying to really
Do you think that, you know, because when did your 5-year contract expire? It
expired in 2017.
Okay.
Because I signed it in 2014. Yeah. I think. Hold up. No. 2012. I turned pro in 2012. So it was 2012. Yeah, expired 2017. Had re-signed after the Santino fight. So
okay, after the first loss,
going into the comeback fight.
Okay.
And the way it was kind of thrown at us, it was just like a, you know what I'm saying,
Here
you want to run it back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, this
after
is
you
like
beat
the
this
first
one, you gonna get, and then you gonna go back. Yeah, so you thought
like
it was
the
the
first contract
build
we got. So you know what I'm saying? We already made it this far.
Yeah.
Why not?
So do you think that affected, like, because I can tell, I mean, I've been watching you fight, you know, since high school. So, like, it just seems like it's been a difference from the last contract to this contract.
Yeah.
And this management to, you know, management before.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you think that's a determining factor on, like, how the trajectory of your career has been going lately? Because it seems like you went on a hiatus for a little minute where, what was that, 2019, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you was out, 18 months or so?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years and got back in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, talk about that. Like, how did that come about? Like, the 18 months and, you know.
Well, after the last fight when I lost in New York and I lost to Ronald Ellis, which Ronald Ellis, give him all respect, he's a good guy. Didn't think he was talented enough to beat me, but that night he was the better man, he won. And that's one of them fights where I just felt like he just got the best of me. And that was a weight issue too that time, because I just felt like my trainer over the years just became this weight thing with me. He just kept forcing on me. Like when I first was winning these fights, it wasn't an issue because I was always on weight and I was, you know what I'm saying, training. And then after a while, I think when he started projecting certain money on me, having these things, making promises, so he's like forcing me, hey, you gotta be this, and forcing me every second, and it became like a pressure thing.
Right.
Every second it's like, what you this? Like, damn, I get tired of hearing it. You know, it kind of makes me don't want to fucking care anymore. You know what I'm saying? Keep stressing me every day about this damn weight. And then I be on it. Like, my brother was always on weight, but he didn't get no fights. I'm not on weight, but I'm getting fights. So it was like, it didn't make sense to me.
Right.
But I felt like that's what played a bigger factor. But Ronald, when I had to lose, I came in 163 that night, and the contract was 162. And I told him I'm not losing anymore because I didn't have no more energy. Like, I felt like if I lose anymore, I'm going to die. That's just how I felt. I couldn't try to sweat that night. I didn't have no sweat. First time it ever happened to me. No, I worked out for like 2 hours. Didn't have no sweat. And I was like, damn, I'm usually a heavy sweater. Right. It's all liquids. That just showed I'm dried up. So I was like, nah, I'm good. Whatever they had to take out, they took out $5,000 out the purse because you had to go to commission and the other fighter. They wanted to take more. But they was like, no, they're going to take $5,000. So I said, it's cool. I said, whatever it is, I just want to make sure I'm healthy and I can last the fight. First 2 rounds, I gave him almost all the business. After that, I felt like I had nothing. I ain't gonna hold you.
Right.
I survived. I still was banging, even though one judge gave it a draw. But I'm just like, yo, he got it. Because I was getting hit with little shit. It wasn't even like he was strong enough to just little taps. And I couldn't respond and my body wouldn't react. And then the communication in the corner, I could just feel like he wasn't even trying to tell me any real good counsel. It was just, somebody just want to be there. Right. He was just there, just like, after this, I just knew me personally, spiritually after this, I just knew that I was done. Right. I just knew you're not going to be in my corner anymore. And that's what enlightened me to go into the contract and see everything. And things just didn't feel right. A lot of people always said over the years, they always looked at my situation, why you not this, why you not that. I didn't really pay no mind because I just want to fight. I'm like, I guess he's up there, he have a resume, why not, That's me assuming. Right. But then once you actually in the situation, see you put everything out, and you realize, like, no, it's just, stuff is funny.
I always look at the fine print, man.
Yeah.
Tell everybody that.
Right.
Definitely got to.
Right.
And then me being signed with 2 people didn't make sense to me because I'm...
Oh, you signed with 2 people?
How does that work? Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand at first, but I realized I had a manager, and then I'm signed with Al Heyman. And Al Heyman is an advisor. So to some degree, they say that advisor is a manager in a way.
No, that's what I was just saying. They should be one of the same, right?
Yeah. So
you double paying?
No, I didn't have to pay Al because my contract with Al is, I don't know how everybody talk about their contracts, but for me, I don't have to pay Al till 10%. He only asks for 10% after I make, let's say, over 100,000. That's when he wants his money. He don't even want no money the whole time I'm fighting. My manager I was previously with 33%. And when I speak with Al people about that, they like, that's way too much. They're like, what are you making off that? You getting 33, and I'm paying back stuff I'm doing through camp. At first it wasn't like that, but once I start making a certain amount of bread, I'm making 40 plus, and then it's like everything I just went through in my camp. Let's say I had an 8-week camp, hotel, all that. Then it's like, oh, I gotta pay this back. It's like, damn, when did this happen? And he's saying it's in the contract. That shit was never in the contract. Yeah. I didn't get my contract from him almost. The one that we re-signed, I never got it until I asked till 2019. So he never even gave us a copy.
Recent. Damn.
Oh damn. So what was your biggest fight? Like your prize money?
Prize money? Korboff. Korboff. The one I got the draw.
Yeah, I'm saying, how much was that?
It was up to like close to 50.
50.
Yeah.
And then what did you get to see out of that 50? Because I remember you was saying that like, you was like, I ain't
You
get
see
this.
it you
I
when
see that.
You see it when they first give it to you.
Yeah.
But then you make these cuts and then you don't see it, like you don't have your percentage.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's
so like they first person they give you, and that's when like me talking with Al, and like that's what always was my confusion, because I have a manager, but his position basically is to secure my fights with Al, because Al presents the fights. He gets you the cards. He gets you.
So you didn't really even need the manager, technically.
In a way,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, even though he was the plug that got me, but Al and them was searching for a lot of fighters at the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I probably could have eventually made a, attempt in that early part, but he just basically said yes or no. So when Al and them asked for a fight, hey man, you want to fight this, whatever, he's the one. How much this and yes or no. So he's probably just thinking how much he could take from me at that point.
Right.
Was the fights could be or whatever. But
So who's your manager now?
I'm just Al now.
Just Al all the way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because Al, he the one who got me on these TV fights. He's the one who's been giving me the paydays and this and that. So I got direct.
So you taking your own. So you basically going independent in a way with like management.
Yeah.
You handling all your books.
Cutting out the middleman.
That's what
Right.
you need to do.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Because that's how I got a lot of my information in 2019 that you asked about on what got me inspired.
Yeah.
Because talking to them and telling my situation, it was like, now they was able to give me my answers. I mean, I was in a situation where, let's say, tickets.
Yeah.
You get tickets for fights. My manager was telling me, the one that was previous, that you got to pay for them tickets. And it's like, and you play basketball.
Yeah.
They give you basketball game tickets for your family, this and that.
Oh yeah.
So I asked Alan, I'm like, hey, do we get tickets for that? He said, you don't have to pay for nothing. Yeah, you get tickets. So I'm like, well, he's telling me you got to pay this and that. And you know what he was doing? He was giving my tickets to it. We see his people. My mom and them all the way at the top.
Yeah.
They in the stands. His people
On the floor.
in the floor in our seats.
Look, my homie played for Charlotte, Memphis. Let me think other teams I didn't went to actually go see him at. Well, I know Charlotte and Memphis. We might have like 20 of us.
Yeah.
Like all us is sitting. We sitting close. And for my homie, I paid to sit behind the team if I got to. So it's like I know for a fact. And then it's like it's leftover. It'd be leftover tickets.
Yeah,
Like everybody,
true.
people not coming.
After
you know
a
what
while,
I'm
they start giving out people outside,
Yeah,
telling them to come in for free.
Because you gotta think, it'd be so many. Because you gotta think, some boxers, they don't even want that. That entourage, ambiance, or anything, or they not on that scale where they have that yet. So it's like them first couple card fights is like nobody really there. It's really the real support, the people that's in there. So it's like after that, them seats open.
Right.
Because a lot of them, they came to see their homie. They ain't come to see who the headliner is.
Right.
So that shit is empty. So yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, just once I start diving in and looking at things that I never paid attention to and realizing and asking questions, that's why I just didn't dig. 'Cause I was just fighting and just moving. Like, my brother he manipulated my brother to always be, because I'm always going to ride for my brother. So when I'm a type of guy, you're not going to tell, something tell me, like, I started this myself. I made myself who I am. You're not going to tell me I need to change and do this and that. Like, who do you think you are? Like, I made me. Like, how you going to tell me that? You didn't make me. And he was trying to twist it to seem like he made me. And then when I don't respond, he'll use my brother to kind of, just go through it. So I did that enough times until I realized, I'm like, nah, fuck that. Yeah. I don't feel like it is not
So
working.
when did you end that management? Like, when did you move on to just moving?
As soon as like 2019, when I found out the information, this and that, and I had sent him a text that we'll no longer need your service anymore, this and that, and he was like, "That's fine, just know I did a lot for you, invested in blah blah blah, and I'm still getting my 33 in the third and go to the highest court, and blah blah blah," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, take it." It is what it is.
Wow.
But that situation got handled, and then I was able to get a call during the pandemic to work out with Jamal Charlo, because Al Heyman. The biggest thing with Al was, like, Al does so much for a lot of fighters. I give it to him because I don't think a lot of the world knows about Al, because he's such a low-key person. And to me, he's like Charlie off Charlie's Angels. I tell him all the time. And I won my belt in 2017. Yeah, I just got a phone to me. They just passed the phone. Hey, this Al. He said, hey, you doing your good thing. You got a lot of good stuff in store for you. Looking forward to it. It was like 30 seconds. Boom. Like, you don't never see him. But this guy has so much money.
Right.
Yeah. Or so much money. You don't see him at fights or nothing. The guy is, like, at a high level where, you know, like, it's the same when Jay-Z said, only few spots, the higher I go, like on the dominoes, like that's Al. He's up there with these guys that make real money, but people don't see him. You can't barely get a picture of him. You know that, and I think black people need to like really look and see like he's successful,
right?
And he's not doing any criminal things or anything like that.
It's all clean.
Yeah. So, but Al was like the big plug, and when it came to me doing my career and realizing like what moves I can make and what I can do, because I didn't know how much I can really, you know, have leverage on by not asking questions. Because I start opening my mouth and asking, I start getting a lot more I need to know. So when they called and asked about working with Jamal Charlo, I guess he had a big fight. He's fighting this guy that I could have potentially fought. That same night I lost to Santino, he fought the main event, and we was trying to hopefully line up to fight one day, and he was preparing for him. So both teams called me. Their team for New York called me and said, hey, I want to what you work with Sergey, you know, for the Charlo fight. Thought about it, but they ain't never give me no price. Charlo and them said they were going to give me this for certain amount, and I was like, okay, boom. I guess we go with them. But I had a contract to fight Charlo 2019 for my old manager. He had given me a contract for $100,000. That was going to be the fight.
Right.
But that's before all the fuckery shit I didn't realize. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad it didn't. I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Because you would have saw half of that 100.
That's how I felt.
So you'd have been back at literally. I really fought this nigga for 25,000.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Like that's
exactly
when it boiled down to it.
Yeah. So it was a blessing in disguise because being with Jamal and them, it really opened my career.
Yeah,
Cause
tell
they
us
helped
about
out.
that.
Oh, yeah, work with Jamal. Jamal's a dope dude. He's a dope dude. He take it. He tells it like it is. He's passionate. He's emotional. You know what I'm saying? But and he put the work in. And I feel like me being in the pandemic, thinking like just like how you see me now, I'm at home, I'm chilling, not doing too much, and you get a call like, yo, you work with a world champion. Like, I had to think like, okay, this is the number one guy in the weight class. You know, this is the top level. I asked my brother, I asked my dad, because we almost supposed to fight that time. But then it was like, you know, that's what you need. You always need to work at that level. Yeah. That's how I felt with my own career when you saying you seen the change. Yeah. I felt like the change happened when I wasn't working with top tier. I'm a product of my environment. So if I don't work with people who's better than me, how am I going to get better? At the point where I was winning, nobody was better than me in that area. I was working everybody. Nobody was giving me the best work. Right. So at that time, once I fought Santino, it was like, it showed. He's working with Sean Porter. I'm working with people that I've been being up on or working with for the last few years. Who's going to really have that advantage, you know what I'm saying? So getting that championship level Jamal was perfect. And they said it was fireworks. They're like, yo, you know, he knocked everybody out, but, you know what I'm saying, you up here giving him the best work out here. So it was just good. It was a plus, you know what I'm saying? They embraced me very good. You know, he brought me to his home to meet his family, treated me just like I was him. And I appreciate him for that, you know what I'm saying? He know my situation. He never carried me to feel like, you know what I'm saying, you just a person to spar. Because he really said, like, fuck, he could have been like, nigga, you have to get put you in a hotel. And,
right.
You know, just come get your pay and be going. But they embraced us very well. They opened with us. And then I eventually started working with Ronnie Shields, who was his trainer. And now I train under him.
Okay.
And this would be what fight would training with him?
My second.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got to work with him. The pandemic.
Yeah, that was the difference. Yeah, that last fight was the difference. It was like your feet started getting wet. You started. You started.
You see my life come back.
Yeah, cause, you even hear the difference. Like when you know how like you always get that when you punch. Yeah. It's different. It was different. Like that last fight. Like I told you, I was like, all you had to do, is just your feet. You know, you was like. It was in that moment like I'm here and I'm just gonna make sure that I don't get knocked out again. I'm just trying to get my feet right. But you can see like the power was there. You just more conservative. You weren't on that like full back aggression mode. But it was different.
It was a difference in training too, because my past manager was my trainer too, and how he trained me.
You had a whole bunch of bullshit.
There's a lot of shit going on. A lot of people don't know what be going on behind doors. And I just keep a straight face going through all the bullshit. So I was like trained like as a workhorse. Yeah. My brother was like at first when he was training, he used to love, and in the beginning he was like, oh, I love how much shape work, always on shape, and he just do whatever. Like me, felt like he had to dog me into shape and do this and that. Yeah. I give it Ronnie just like box. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like I was a good boxer. I bang, I can brawl, I can do it all. Yeah. But I felt like my boxing skill was cool, so Ronnie was like, you know what I'm saying, just box. Forget trying to trade with him and this and that, you know what I'm saying? Save your career, basically. Yeah. Just use I think that's my skill that he sees that was working for me, and he liked to add on to your skill, and that's what I like. I feel
Don't
like my
try to
other trainer
reinvent
was
the
trying
wheel,
to, he was trying to reinvent me and make me a certain way, and if he don't like it, whoever he's talking to, whoever he's hustling with, man, he probably betting like, yo, I'm gonna knock you out in 4 rounds. So now I'm training to knock him out in these 4, and I don't get it. Now you don't get that extra bag. That's how I felt like I was training. But to me personally, over them years, I feel like I already knew it.
He marked your fourths in your shit. Like he's just trying to make you shoot different and all that shit.
Yeah. I felt like I knew it, and I just wanted to fight to get us to a point where I had control. Yeah. Because I felt like at the end of the day, I didn't care what fight you gave me. I just felt like I'm going to accept it anyway. And when I win, because I didn't think I could lose, when I win, I'm going to get to the point where I'm the top dog. I start shooting shots. Yeah. But then it got to a point where I ain't had too much leverage.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was like your toughest fight to train for? Would you say like was that?
I can't really say. I treated every training. This is how bad I trained. I trained so bad with the last trainer that my fight was in the gym. So it was never about the opponent. I never cared about the opponent. It's how much they dogged me and wore me out. And I just think over them years, I just felt like I just slowly was breaking because I kept wearing and tearing. So every camp I was getting pushed the same way till I couldn't even stand.
Right.
Hitting the bag so I can't stand, you know what I'm saying? So I can't think any fight or any opponent was, because every fight from when I was on TV, all of them was trained the same, so I can't really.
Who was the hardest hitting?
Hardest hit out of all the fights?
Yeah.
Let's see. Korobov had some good pop. I don't feel like he was super puncher, but
you ain't never had that moment when you blocking a punch, you like, oh shit.
Nah, it's crazy because my adrenaline be so like, I don't feel
shots.
shots.
Okay.
And then when I'm bigger, when I'm like, I have a lot of water on me, it's like that's why I fight like that, because I be having all that tension. I just be knocking off, you know what I'm saying, punches. But like, I don't know. I say Jamal was pretty strong. He's a strong guy. He's somebody I feel like I can test my match with. Like when I'm hitting, I feel like I can get hit by myself back.
Right.
Like I haven't had nobody that hit me to make me feel like myself, but I feel like Jamal's like that.
Like damn, he get hit.
Everything he throw is 100. He don't tap with you. Like me, I'll tap and be quick sometimes. He's everything boom. I'm throwing. Wait, boom.
Dang. Yeah. So
how you feel about like what mode you ready to get back in? Because I know you ready. I know you want to fight. I know you like what I want to see is like going back to those that run, that 17-0 run where you were fighting. You were fighting fights every 4 months. Like you were going crazy. So how do you feel about that? Or like, are you at the point where you want to like space it out?
I'm at a point just trying to figure out how to market my worth in the business. And put that same work in, because like the next fight could be any fight, but it got to be the right fight, and that's why I'm at in that position. Like I see that with Floyd, where Floyd took advantage is making the right fights. Yeah. Everybody wanted to just fight this and fight the top guy, but but if you make the right fight, that's what gets you there. That's what takes the hump, and trying to just like notice what is my real worth, not just giving what they take anything they give me. So that's where it's like I'm in the lab just trying to figure out everything and still training. My mentality going forward is like, I know some people think I'm done or I'm not the same, and that's why I kind of that's the drive that I want. I like proving people wrong because they feel like that. That's the attitude I'm coming with the show. Nah, this shit ain't over. I'm just getting started. I done went through a lot and I learned a lot, and I'm a person like that. When I learn stuff, I get better, and I like doing stuff from my experiences. So. I like that coming for it. It's like y'all really gonna see now. I feel like I'm even more dangerous because y'all done seen the little hiccups. Y'all seen that. So going forward, I don't feel like I know what needs to be done. And that's how it always was when it came like losing weight and this and that. I knew what to cut out. Like when it's time to not do this and do that, I just know, hey, I'm not doing it.
Right. What fuels that so you just said kind of like touching back on like your doubters and you know how that kind of fuels you to go harder in the gym. What fuels your passion? Because I mean, to stand in that ring, man, you know what I'm saying? You got to be standing for something. So like, what kind of fuels you to tackle that?
I just always felt like I was a huge competitor and just always wanted to be the best for myself. And I started to understand that more as I got older, before in the beginning, you want to impress people, you want to impress peers, you want to impress everybody. But then as I start like accomplishing things, I would just want to impress myself, and I'm always trying to be better than my last version. And I know my last few versions was okay, but it's not better enough. And I feel like that's the never ending chase. You know what I'm saying? I like the Kobe mentality, the Mamba mentality. You know, just always trying to progress and get better. So that's what I'm kind of attacking going forward.
Right. That's all right.
So I got one belt, but I need more. You know what I'm saying? I need more accomplishments, because everything I did in my family is history. There's nobody who done this before me. And even doing it for Richmond, like there's nobody who was here and had anything to even stand and put the name out there. So over the years, when they see us, they respect us. Like when they go to DC and stuff, they know us as fighters. Like, yeah, them boys can rumble. Them boys put on. Like, we ain't no walkovers.
Right.
And I love that prestige. I love that, bringing that, because I feel like bringing something new to the table, because I feel like that's when Richmond was different. Richmond didn't have the boxing. And they have a lot of potential. Richmond has a lot of, like, skill and all that, but somebody just got to break the barrier. And I feel like I was trying to push that.
Right. So what do you feel like, what's next as far as taking your career? Where you want to take it next? Where you want to take it after, like, you know, where are you preparing to take it, I should say?
I'm trying to be, like, global with it.
Global.
Yeah, as far as I can get, I want to be world champion, be the first one to bring the world championship back here. You know what I'm saying? No matter where I go, I'm always trying to try to represent Richmond. You know, they're gonna know this is where I'm at. You see it in me and when I fight and everything. So I want to just establish and know that, like, we got it here. You know what I'm saying? We got other places. We got LA. We got Chicago. Got New York. You know what I'm saying? But here, this could be another place that can spark everything. You know what I'm saying? So as far as I see, like I said, world champion, and I just want to get into other businesses and be an entrepreneur, have a detailing business. I'm growing and everything too, but just like Lamar, he's another person that inspires me. Like, going through my management thing, I just started like learning and seeing a lot. So seeing you doing your thing too was an inspiration that helped me, because I'm just like, he's doing it. He's, you know, he got his restaurant and stuff going on. He's doing his business
like you
thing.
said, no, everybody don't see the backstory. I done been through lawsuits and stuff, you know, contract situations, and then now that just has me how I am now. Like, hey, I go straight to a lawyer with anything.
Right.
We got I got a deal. I just had a deal already signing here. You know, a crazy deal down in 757. I went straight to a lawyer. Like, I ain't doing that no more. I done been there. So people see, But I the backside, that's what got me like consulting and learning how to do my own LLC, put my EIN number. What's the difference between the corporation? How to make somebody be an owner of my business, and have a percentage of ownership without having the access or the authority to the business. There's certain things like knowing the key terminologies, knowing how to put them in a shell company, just give them shares of the S corporation, and I mean, it's a lot of ways that, you know, like I said, but that's the main reason. It was like, all right, well, okay, they ain't gonna happen again. The same way like you, like your manager, like, all right, I got this. Don't even worry about that.
Touching back, since you said that with the lawyer, that was the first thing. After like leaving the Charlo camp, and coming back, having a lawyer and looking at the contract, and when I talked to one of the ones out there, he was like, "Man, that's probably one of the worst contracts I've seen." He said he's been around boxing for like the last 30, 40 years, and he's like, it's pretty bad. I had to get out, but he showed me how to get out of it, which I had to do. So.
That business sound like it's treacherous in that boxing world, man.
It's very, because
like
there's no union in boxing.
Yeah.
You gotta think you can make your own rules in a way. I mean, there's rules per state for things you gotta do, but when it comes to contractual, like, there is nothing you can't put in there. It's all about your agreement.
That's like rap. You know, it's like a 360 deal. It's like,
I compare the same.
So and that's what I was ready want you to explain, because like people that want to get boxing, like, I mean, your dad kind of like started.
Yeah.
From what I know, it's probably one of the first gyms that really like had fighters. You know, there's a lot of people that got gyms that, you know, train boxing, but they won't go into fighting, and you know, they won't even fight an amateur. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, as far as like your dad's gym, that was the first gym. So like, when people be like they want to go boxing, that's something like I would definitely want you to like explain, like get them to understand, like, hey, when you go training and you do all this, you paying that back. It's just like going to recording studio.
Right.
Yeah, you signed for this.
Yeah.
But you gonna, everything you make, you getting a cut out of it, or they gonna get a cut out of it, because you gotta pay them for studio time. Same way I pay for training, same way I pay for flights, and stuff
that's
like that.
That's how my manager was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, not too many like boxing people have that. Well, that's more promoters.
Yeah.
Promoters and boxers do that.
Yeah.
Where they give you a promotion, they gonna give you the upfront like that.
Yeah.
Hey, like, how can I say, like Mayweather promotions? For
Yeah.
Mayweather give Tank, he get this, but in his fights he gonna have to pay that back. It looks good. He got the cars doing this, but I don't know his situation. I don't know his contract,
Yeah.
but in a way, something's going back.
Depending on how much he blew.
Yeah.
Depending on how much he blew, like niggas be fighting for free.
Yeah.
You know, you never
That's a
know.
fact.
You know, you might be fighting for free because I know niggas' expenses be crazy. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
and the way they live their lifestyle, like, you know, niggas be having flawless chains on. Niggas don't be knowing how much them diamonds be really costing. Like,
Right.
I didn't seen them in the store. Like, diamond this big be 50K, and niggas be talking about they got all VVS's on. That's fat. Like,
talking about the LLC stuff when you
Yeah.
talking about like, boxing, like we're independent contractors
Yeah.
and we're not into no like business entities, so we don't even
Facts.
have an EIN or anything like that. So
Yeah.
we
Wow.
are all self-employed when it comes to even doing our money
you
and
can,
taxes.
you can,
Pay
you can
yourself,
make
like,
it.
yeah.
You can make it. You can make it.
That's what I'm in the
different,
process of doing.
though. Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can make it
learning how to do
different.
that.
Yeah, you definitely like. I tell this to anybody. Depending on what you're doing, you could be an LLC, you could be whatever you want. But I want to be taxed as an S corp, so I can still be an LLC and be taxed as an S corp. But the only reason I like S corps is because it makes my job a lot, strenuous. I can go to my accountant. I don't have to put in a amendment every year to the IRS to be taxed differently, because you're gonna be taxed way differently. But I feel like every profession of sports profession should be a business, because then it just helps you on tax. So now when you stacking your bread and you're a corporation and I go for a flight, I ain't worrying about the booking agent or the promoter. I'm paying for it. It's going through me. I'm getting my cut. So then when I fight, if I ain't paying the 33% taxes on the fight, because it went to the company, it didn't come to me.
Right.
So then the company now has distributed me some money, which is a contribution, which is not income. So then I don't get the income tax. So now I'm taxed at maybe 10 to 18%, and when I add all my expenses up, I don't pay nothing.
Right.
That's why corporations never pay, because they always they got so many expenses. The entities is just tax different. So like
that's why I have to use my expenses and do my tax same way.
Yeah.
But just trying to get into that type of form, that's the whole thing. Like boxers not told how to do that.
Yeah.
You come in, you get kids
like
who
say you don't got no union.
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah.
So like NBA just started that. Like
you
they
just find
started
somebody who's good. Oh,
Yeah.
bring them on. Hey, you throw this money at you, get signed. That's how they do it.
That's crazy. But yeah, so speaking back on to like your dad gym, your dad still got a gym, right?
Yes, he started in 2008 when he realized he took us from. We had a few gyms. I started at
the Hall Street gym, right?
Yeah, it was a Hall Street gym right where Kroger spot is on the opposite side. It was called Special
that was
Effects.
the first one. Yeah, that was
and
the
that's
first
where
one.
we
Then
started
went
from.
to the other gym.
My dad found that gym and got us in there, and we was there for a little while till he realized he just felt like this isn't boxing. He said he grew up on boxing. He always was just a fan, in Jamaica, and he used to always watch it. And he's like, this isn't boxing. This is when he was a big fan of Ali. So he just took us to another gym. We went to I think it was on Overbrook. It was shoot, why am I acting like I forgot the name right now? It was Ray Brown's gym. I can't think of the name of it, but Ray Brown was the gym citywide boxing gym. We went to there and we was training there for a little bit, but then they was kind of from the image of Richmond, they wasn't trying to go out to the nationals and stuff like that. My dad seen a tournament he wanted us to go into. He's like, hey, what do y'all think about ringside and this and that? It said such fighters, 1,200 fighters go there, and they was like, no, we're not taking them. Like, why you not? My dad think like they good experience for us. So after a while, I just realized, they're not trying to move y'all or try.
No, that's what I'm saying. They
out.
just trying to. They basically, it seemed like, and that's just like the I guess the vibes that they give off. It's like they want to teach you boxing, but they don't want to put you in the ring.
Close mind, and not to just like shit on Richmond with that, but that's majority of like Richmond when it comes.
That's Richmond in any aspect.
Right.
They don't want to break out when it's time. You know what I'm saying? If it's something to make you better, you need to leave out and go do stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep things. But some people are so comfortable they don't want to leave.
No, but I think they got that like we got that like that syndrome of if we leave Richmond, you gotta stay away. But it's like you can leave and come back.
Right.
Like it's not that hard. I'm like, bro, go fight, come back. I mean, they do it in the 7.
I've been doing it for the shoot 10
They
years.
They do it in the 7-5 all the time. They got artists, athletes, whatever. They
always come back.
Come back.
Yeah.
AI
Always.
still is we know it's 7-5 hard. So
That's
it's like if he done did it on the level he had, like what the hell? How you think? But Yeah,
but definitely. But after that, like my dad left and said, we want to create our own gym because of us. He's like, he wanted us to be better. So basically, we was training at home. Our home in 4th Avenue in Highland Park. That's where we was training at. And I was running around the block, and we was sparring in our living room. And that's how we was training for most of our fights and tournaments. Until we found a spot, and he got on Hall Street. And we was there for, I don't know how many amount of years until we just moved to Hopewell. But we been there.
I was there for a minute. I was there probably.
From old.
Probably till your contract end, almost like 2017.
Yeah,
it's probably been that long.
It just happened.
Yeah,
and we just moved. So because we only been there for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah. But that was it. My dad them train hundreds of fighters and people coming through there. My dad has a real Mr. Miyagi spirit with people and kids who come in. So he always think everybody's a champion. He see y'all, he gonna see he can make y'all champion.
Right.
My nephew just won the Silver Gloves Nationals the other day, and they were just fought in Kansas City, Independence, Missouri, and he even broke my record because I only came in second. So now he won, and my nephew, it's great. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that's one thing that motivated me because I've seen him progress. Because as a kid, he was real good as a kid, but he's at that stage where he's learning, and he got the ADHD, and he's trying to figure out himself. He takes it as fun. Like, he don't know how serious it is yet. He's still a kid, and it's like, but he got potential, he got skill. Right. So to see him kind of click a little bit and see him grow and finally take it by the horn. That really inspired me being as an uncle. I'm like, yo, he's really like...
And he winning.
Yeah, because before he would give up and lose against people he know he should be beating. Like, he been doing this since 1 year old. Like, a lot of people don't know. Like, he got a real strong Richmond background. Like, I'm 1 year old watching me train and doing all that. Like, he has the most experience. Like, he can coach some of the best people out there just watching him. I'm like, yo, he only like 10 and he's telling them what they should be doing. So he got the IQ, but he just won't put the work in and it hasn't clicked yet. But seeing him becoming a man and growing into it, it put a smile on me. I'm like, yo, my nephew doing now. He finally got his moment because before he kept being there, laughing, talk a little bit like, man, he's good. We ain't worry about him because he joke around. Because he actually like pushed through. It's like, yeah, now it's your time. You know what I'm saying? I was glad for him to have that, and it was better than me because I didn't get the number one. Nobody really gets the number one because they always like the favoritism and stuff like that. So he pulled it through. And it was like, yeah, you brought back a championship, and you brought back to Richmond.
Brought it back to the family, man. That's all right. You think he's gonna be next up? You think he next up?
He wants to be. I don't know. I told him like I don't put the pressure on him. Like if I have kids, I don't have kids at the moment, but I don't even want them into boxing because it's only because I know like the dangers of it and what to look out for. It's a sport where everybody is vicious. They all trying to take something from you. And he said he want to go pro and doing this, but I don't even think he really know the level and stuff you got to go through. Like me, knowing where I'm at right now, if I would have knew that before I went pro, I still probably did it, but I would definitely look at it differently. I would have definitely been way more set up way before, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I would have took that risk because it just took the fun out of it. When I was an amateur, I was having fun. I was just beating people up and winning and get your trophy or whatever. Get pro, you got money involved. Anything with money involved.
Changes everything,
right? Yeah, changes everything.
I told you, everything a business. You got and people got to understand that this is the world. Well, the world that we live in the United States is capitalism. It's a world of profit. So, it's always going to be somebody that's going to try to take advantage of you. You just got to, you got to have your shit together. You have your shit together, you ain't got to worry about
taking advantage of it.
That's where I'm at now. I just realized I'm just putting everything and studying and learning and just want to be more informative about stuff because that's what I feel like that's what the strength and power is. One of the fighters I do like is Keyshawn Davis. He's out of the 757, and he's taking that approach. His family is good, and they're treating it like a business. And I feel like anybody who want to get into sport from the beginning, this is a business from day one. So don't even care about the fights. Like I wanted to be that old school fighter, like the Tyson. Like I feel like my situation with Tyson was the same. I taking advantage of it, just using fights and get him out there and make that money. But
even Muhammad Ali, they won't pay attention. Like they won't.
Yeah, definitely.
Only person like Joe probably was like one of the only old heads that I
like
from studying and knowing where he was watching his money. Like you know what I'm saying. Other than that, most of them was like he handled that. That ain't what I do.
Because boxers they get to pay at one big time and then you gotta last that for a whole month or until you fight again. So that's why people fight so much when you were saying people they fight because let's say you get your 5,000-6,000, you gotta fight again to get another.
That's why I said you make this a business. You can easily outlast that time. You got lines of credit. Now
that's what I'm into.
So you got lines of credit now. Like you want to go get your house. It's hard to do it without doing it. And then I don't like nothing in my name. Yeah. So that's just me. No, because and then at a certain level, when you become, a stature, the person like you, boxer, you can Google your name. You can Google my name, but you gonna come up more than me. So if I can Google your name, I can get your address. It's public record. Yeah. But if I put my house into a corporation or LLC, and if depending on where I register this corporation at, it's anonymous. If I go to Delaware, it's anonymous. So I bought a house in an LLC that's anonymous. Yeah. You don't know who live here. And then, you can't run, if I do it in a corporation, you can't see how much money I made. If your LLC is a public record too, I can pull your books. So that's some of the things that I be like, I ain't messing with that. Like my truck, I don't get. It's my business name, bro. I don't
that's what I'm like trying to dive into for my business when it comes to detailing, realizing like as I'm learning from leaving that contract and starting my LLC business, cause I got about 2 or 3. I'm like, yo, now I wanna. You know what I'm saying? So I can use some of this business stuff with it.
Leverage,
then I looked
man.
at boxing like why I couldn't, because when it comes to funding and stuff like that, and going
funding
out,
it. So and that's why I say that's another write off. So you got a LLC for your boxing, and then you funding these other businesses. Yeah, that's a write off in itself. But if I was a corporation, it's just a entity of that business. Yeah. So now I'll never pay taxes because this is the umbrella. You know what I'm saying? This is what's generating all this stuff. Yeah. And then I'm protected. And like I said, when I need money, I can show for it. Like it's the difference. Like I'm putting in a $50,000 check from the fight. You don't get a $50,000 credit card, or I go get a $50,000 loan. Right. So that just makes your life a lot easier when you coming down to the business side. So.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to dive into, like you said, the lines of credit and stuff like that. Because like the expenses get big when it comes to boxing. Because when it comes to prepare for a fight, you gotta have your food, you gotta have equipment,
place to stay,
you gotta have travel. You know what I'm saying? All that.
How did marketing? How like with you marketing? I know you got sponsorship programs and stuff like that. How that.
And that's just stuff that I just started from us building everything. It's still me.
Yeah, that's crazy that the other manager didn't kind of like put that in place, knowing like he already been in the business. Cause like marketing is bigger than the actual fight. You gotta think AG and all them QC. They spent $1 million to be on the ring.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like that's before the fight. That's guaranteed money. Win, lose or draw.
Right.
Like, I'm getting this bread. So like when I look at it like damn niggas overlooking the other money. The real money is like, all right, now I need to be marketable. So
I feel like it was because we from Virginia.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like anytime we mentioned Virginia, he was always kind of funny about that. He's from out of Maryland. He used to be a cop up in Maryland, so. And
he crooked anyway.
DC, yeah. So
yeah, come on.
So I think anytime we asked in Virginia, anytime it was like my dad or anything to do with my past, he didn't care about that, and I don't think he cared about marketing us or putting us up. He just want to make sure he got his cut off and put us in a position somewhere to make more if he get his cut.
Yeah, because you could have had some crazy marketing deals. I mean, 17-0 out the city already was just like.
Yeah, I see people who got less fights than that.
Crazy. Exactly. Yeah, you could be 4-0 and they already got a deal.
They don't even got the resume I had.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. Right. So that's why I was like, want to really understand how that situation played out, because I was like, the marketing alone, you only scratching the surface, because it's just like rapping. Some people just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get album sales. And now understand you got streaming sales, then you got YouTube, then you got
so that's like me with the merch and stuff like that. I didn't have a lot of stuff that was in play. Yeah. And the bullshit contract he was trying to take a percentage off everything. One big thing he had in that other contract was that power of attorney, and that's why I didn't know.
Whew.
I didn't see.
That's worse. That's worse than anything. I mean, with him
having that
alone,
was the biggest thing I didn't even know. Once I seen that, I was like, this is why he kept that.
So I don't know if everybody know, but POA mean you POD too, so that means like basically, your account is his account technically. So when you deposit money into that account, he could go to the bank and show paperwork that he power attorney, and he's automatically like he has full access to everything. Yeah. So like,
so that was the fuckery contract, the second one that we.
So you couldn't even really sue him. Yeah. You can't go after him because it's like, technically. You signed off on it, you knew about it, and you can't say, oh, he took some money, because he's like, your money is his money. He's he's your guardian. Right. He's like your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like what? You can't tell them you can't take no money out the account. Yeah. Yeah. So
that was the moment I feel crazy, like being open and just being like I got played on it because to tell the truth, I wasn't even caring because I'm just thinking like, hey, we made it this far. Just put on TV, got a belt. Why not? You know what I'm saying? But he just bring it to with the science part too. Yeah. Like, hey, if you want to run this back. Now let's just read and go through it. When we first had our contract, he was at our gym. He came to our gym, spoke with our dad, everybody. You know, we read it over each line. And we said what it was and this and that. This one was just if you want to run it back. Yeah. So that one was like I just felt like okay.
That was easy money.
Yeah.
That was easy money. But yeah, that's just crazy. You know, I'm just thinking about like how much money you missed with those big fights. Like Showtime, like niggas don't understand Showtime ain't no like slouch. Yeah. What other
I fought on Fox, I fought on Showtime.
Oh yeah, you did. You fought on Fox Sports.
On ESPN.
Yeah.
Fought on
the ESPN one was the draw, right?
On ESPN one, that's when I had my knockout. It was the one I fought this dude Juan Carlos Rojas, and they took it off YouTube. And that's the one that kind of put me on because this Mexican was in my ass, and I could say that was a hard fight. He didn't hit hard, but he was one of them guys where
they go.
Like, I feel like I could hit and hurt anybody. Yeah. I hit him, he kept coming. Oh, yeah. He was doing like me, so I was just like, and the referee just letting stuff slide. He grabbing me and holding me. I said, so this is how we getting down. So after that, last 15 seconds of the 6th round, you know, I just sat on one of them and he stood up. Referee came over like it's over. And that was one that put me on notice to get another bigger fight. Yeah. And I kept winning the more bigger fights they kept giving me. But like being on that stage and having that fights, I just knew because people asked me like, "Yo, I know you made more than that," and I wish I could have told them I was supposed to, but that was like the red flags people was telling me without me knowing. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's it's good to experience it because if you didn't experience it, you wouldn't know what to do now.
Yeah.
And then it helps 100%. The next generation to understand like, all right, you know, this is what happens. This is the fuckery that happened again. Right. You know what I mean? You hear about it, but. You hear about it. No, you hear about it on the big scale. Like you hear about it happening to like Mike Tyson,
like superstars.
Yeah, but you don't because it's like it's a lot of money to play with. Yeah. And then long as I ain't saying that it's right or you know what, but like I'm like give me 10 million.
Yeah.
Then, nigga, you didn't know you made 50, but you got 10. But for somebody that ain't never had 10, you like shit. Man, 10 million, I'm straight.
I'm taking that,
And then when you realize you supposed to have 35, you like, all right, hold on now. Yeah, and then especially when and then at the lower level, you working so hard trying to, survive off this career. It kind of make people think like ain't no money in boxing. Right. Really, it's like so much money.
In the beginning, it's crazy. The money wasn't even really the factor in the beginning. Yeah. I think when it got to the bigger fights, that's when my fight started changing. Yeah. When money got involved. Yeah. Because I wasn't fighting for the same reasons. Yeah. I was fighting when money wasn't a factor. Of course, I'm making 15, 10, 8, and that was like easy, but it wasn't like I was yearning for it. But when you got 40 on the line, 25, 30, and it's just like. Now they start, taking from you a little bit. Now things become different. Now I'm training different. My focus is different. Right. I'm thinking before I'm just focusing on you. I'm focusing on everything I break down. Now it's like I'm working you a certain way because you got to make this bread off of this. And I don't like fighting desperate like that. Yeah. Right. I feel like you fight desperate. That's when it's time to retire. Facts. Your heart ain't into it. Right. Get caught with shit.
That's with anything, man. Your heart ain't in it. Yeah.
Is your dad still help you train, or you just go in the gym and like work out types?
Yeah, I always been a person to put my own type of work in. My dad was like very good with guiding me. Him have like a telepathic thing. Yeah. Even in fights, he was able to say something, I just do it. So that's always how I always been when it came to even that fight. I just like him being there just to hear something because he has a perspective. Yeah. And you know how to say something and get to me. Mm-hmm. So if he says something, I just hear it and I just know what he's talking about because you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he never really had to be there, and I think that was the training and thing we had over the years. He knows what we've been installed with from day one, so I can go with anybody. Mm-hmm. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, it's not to shut down anybody. I just feel like I make other people look good. Yeah. I feel like, of course, my manager done and trained and did what he did, but I feel like it could have been anybody in my corner. Yeah. That's just how I felt, how good I felt. Like I could have brought anybody up.
Mm-hmm. You was gonna get yourself in the gym regardless.
Yeah, right. Because when it came to them fights, like I said, I felt like I always knew it was bullshit, but because I knew I wanted to win these fights, I knew I was gonna get to a point where I was gonna have a big one, and I just knew I was gonna lock in when that big one happened. I ain't care. So if I had to take these bullshits to get to that, that was my mentality.
Right. So when is your next fight?
Well, it's on me. I told them. March or April, I'll be ready. So that's why I'm ready to go prepare. But that was me now knowing the business, me having the direct source. I can tell. Like before, when I told you he came and said we have a fight, he rushed me. Mm-hmm. All he had to do was call him and tell me not ready. And of course they probably move on to somebody else. But if we're not ready, we're not ready.
Yeah.
But because he made it a desperate thing where I didn't even like, yo, why we
you
going so
even,
much?
you didn't have no opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
No say so. Yeah.
Exactly. When I got my say so I can choose when I want to fight.
Yeah.
And it's like if I say I'm ready around this, that's all out on the way for. Hey, when you ready to go? If I say this date, all right, that's the time. They can start putting up something together.
Yeah.
Then I choose from there.
Gotcha.
All right. So.
No, you got it.
You good. I was just gonna ask, like, as far as like where the caliber you are now, when you say you ready, will they like give you a list of who you want? How does that work as far as like you choosing who you want to fight next? And
I
all
guess
that
they
stuff?
potentially match you up from, like, I guess potential with who they see that can value like your win. Like it might be somebody that you know, might be somebody you don't. Like hey, you fight this guy, you might have something. I don't even know what technically they're gonna say, but they might say you might have something guaranteed next one, this and that. So that's one aspect I'm at. Like when you might okay, I want to get a title fight.
Follow up fight.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So yeah, you just going to have
like small negotiating.
Yeah, not trying to like
yeah.
all right, get a fight and then now you don't know the next fight coming.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, all right, I fought this one. I know I'm gonna got another fight in 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Right. So it's already like a lock. You ain't even like. All right, well, I got to wait for the call. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that's what I kind of was before. I was waiting for the call, but my manager was a call.
Right.
And I think it was just based off what he see and what
yeah.
he think he can get off. So, man, I don't know. I'm not going to, like, down. And I just feel like it was a good run. I'm not going to say that I didn't get a lot off it because I don't want to be a hypocrite. To be like, he was just such a bad person. It was things I got good out of it, too. And the things he did, that could have been good, too. But the fuck shit was a fuck shit, so
right.
that's what this.
How
really
many
is
fights
at
you
on
think
that.
you going for? Like, what's your career number?
That's crazy.
'Cause, I mean, what
I
you at?
really
You at
I'm
23?
at 23.
Yeah, 23.
And my thing is, I told myself 34, I'm out. 34. So whatever I get by 34, I'm going. So what I got?
You got 11.
6 more years. 7 more years.
You said 33 years old?
34. Yeah, on some 34.
Oh, 34. Okay, I thought you were talking fight.
That's what I was thinking.
I was like,
34
okay,
fight.
okay.
Yeah.
Goddamn, nigga.
On some 34, I'm done. If I don't get it by then, I feel
You
like
28.
I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't gonna be fighting forever.
Yeah. That's a long
I've
time,
been doing
man.
this since I was 12 years old. I started
Fighting forever. Hey,
Yeah.
you done took a lot of punches.
Yeah, man, for real, man.
Look, now I'm trying to take less. This the difference. I'm trying to take less.
Right.
It still
You
get
get
that
35, he
same
was
grade.
like, I'm gonna fight the exhibition fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just called me for 150,000.
Exhibition against podcasters.
So what? I asked you this on camera, but I gotta ask, because everybody don't know the sperm retention. Is it real?
Oh yeah, it is.
Shit, man.
You gotta hold back, because if you catch that body before you fight, you definitely not gonna be strong in there.
Because you go to Vegas and you ready to fight. I know it's hard.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
they lock my door. Security stand at the door. Like, do not let nobody in. Do not let me come in with nobody.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta get this chicken. And she talking crazy, texting my phone. Nah,
And I heard stories. I done been around a lot of people who they need to get it. They need to have something before, because they go crazy. Some fighters just not themselves. They cooped in.
Right.
So they gotta explode something.
You gotta get loose before they.
I'm gonna beat the hell out you so I can get to this pussy. Like, forget what you talking about.
Niggas probably just gotta
brother,
jack
look,
someone off. So
how many? Shit, hey, look, there's gonna be 2 rounds. I'm telling you, I'm gonna knock him out in 2 rounds.
And I'm on the way.
Look, you better be ready. I'm gonna hit this ice bath real quick, and then I'm coming. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready. So, like, what's up with like your love life, and how that is? We gonna go like more impersonal.
Oh, it's been great. It's been ups and downs. I feel like I had a real great relationship. We've been 8 years in so far. Not a marriage yet, but like she's like my best friend, and I feel like we done had the best times, worst times. When you really get to know somebody, it's not always gonna be good and perfect, but that's what I enjoy about it. She's been like my escape when it came to all this bullshit I was going through. She was the one I didn't have to worry about, because when I come home, not that she's not all into boxing, it's just the fact that it's like, hey, how's your day? What you doing? It's like,
regular.
Yeah, everybody else is, hey, box. Like, I got the point, I ain't want to hear this shit no more. Like, you keep saying me about boxing, like, I don't want to hear that. I do it, but I want to keep talking about it. You know what I'm saying? There's not no offense to anybody. It's just that's just not something I want to talk about all the time. But, when people ask me questions and they want to know this and that, I'm cool. I'm going to give you info. I'm always the type, like, if you give me something you want to learn, I'm going to share it with you because I feel like if you could take it and be farther, why I'm not going to hold you back from it.
Right.
I know a lot of people keep things to themselves, and some people, I know if you got a secret sauce, you got to keep your secret sauce. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to hold people back.
I don't know about that, though.
I don't want to hold people back.
The secret sauce is the secret sauce for that person. So I don't feel like you can take my secret sauce and do the same thing.
Some people feel like they feel like they know it.
No, I'm saying even if you know it, that's like, hey, bro, I could tell you. That's just like this. That's like I had a situation before, like where I know a girl grandma told her a recipe, but it was never good as her grandma's.
Yeah.
I gave you the recipe, but her grandma just made it different. Yeah, it was different. So it's kind of like even with the sauce, it's like it might not work for you. You know what I'm saying? You might. It's some cases where they might can do better, but sometimes what's for you is for you. And
that's touching up on that. Like, there's a guy from a producer, Bink Harold, and he's he done produced some of the top records, and he's out of Virginia, out of Norfolk. He done did Rulers Back on Jay-Z, Blueprint, and he done did Don't Leave by Backstreet Boys and the Lost Boys. But he had a situation like that where he talked about the secret sauce. Me and him had this conversation a while, but Just Blaze. Yeah. You feel like on the Rulers, when they was on Blueprint, everybody kind of took off and bit off what he had. You know what I'm saying? And they ran off, and they become the guys that everybody talked to about on YouTube and Just Blaze beat and Soul Type beat. But he's like, that's his sauce.
I started that, like,
it's all, but he don't get the credit for it, or you don't acknowledge him, and he got a lot of solidified records.
Yeah, but
it's like that with music, man.
That check's still coming to that.
Yeah,
that's one thing for sure. That
still know how to keep making
that money's still coming. So like, I mean, it depends though. It depends on what you're looking for. Cause if it's me, I'll be like, cool. Cause I mean, we got.
You just gonna make some more.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make some more. But just like who we got here? What's his name? Mad Skills.
Oh yeah.
Mad Skills, like he done wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
he tried to bite his rap up too.
In confidence, he could he'll tell you like, oh, I might have wrote this song.
Yeah.
But he not gonna put it out there. But that check gonna come every time.
Yeah.
Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Radio hit. There you go.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But High School Sweetheart.
Yeah. After
y'all met in high school, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want you to say that though.
Yeah,
still from 8 years, but I was like, y'all, gym class, y'all walking around the gym. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like it just started.
Yeah.
We started off as
she was
close
with somebody
friends.
else. She was with somebody else at the time.
Started off as close friends.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy because that situation happened because we linked back together because I was with, my homie Terrell, Bullock, the Kung Fu. He used to be in school. We used to hang out, do music and everything. And I was just chilling at his house, and she kept tweeting me on Twitter. And it was like her shit kept, like, people get hacking. So they kept sending shit to her. And I had told her, like, well, why your shit keep sending me messages and this and that? And she's like, that's not me. I'm not talking to you, this and that. So it was, I think somebody hacked her and they kept sending me messages and she didn't even realize it. But that's how we kind of started connecting and talking because she always asked about boxing. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, no, just out here, just training, this and that. She said she always thought we was, like, fighting out of the country, doing something real big. I'm like, no, we just fought in, like, Texas or, let's say, North Carolina.
We went too far.
Yeah, but just that over the building, then we just kind of hung out one night and just hit it off and been with each other ever since. It's been great. Like I said, our relationship she's grown. I've grown. We both grown out of each other, but she brung parts of me that I wasn't before. Like I'm a real person. Like I shelled out a lot to the world. Like me talking now, I wouldn't been as open. I mean, Lamar kind of know back in the day. I wouldn't talk a lot.
No, like I was telling y'all.
He'll pick on me like a motherfucker.
Hey, look. Me and Drell used to fuck with him so hard. And he'll never say nothing. He'll just be looking. I'd be like, Drell, he gonna punch the shit out of us one day. And we was little as a bitch then. So I was like, man, hey, Drell, I'm telling you, he hit you, I'm gone. Because I'm telling you, I know that bitch gonna hurt. Like, yeah, so yeah. No, he was, he ain't really talk, but we knew he was about business. I mean, because we hooped together too, though. So it wasn't like, it wasn't no conversation. So it was like, you hooped at TJ. It was like, you was a fam for real. Yeah. Like, we all hung together. Like, and I wasn't even on the team.
Yeah.
And I was like one of them.
Yeah. I just felt like that version of me, like even when it came to fighting and stuff like that, I feel like I upgraded that version. I became to be more vulnerable, open and stuff like that. Because that person I feel like was strong, but it was hurt and weak. That's why I was like kind of like always holding on and rejected a lot of stuff and then wouldn't open up. But being with my girl over the years and we were able to talk and meet a vent about stuff and because I used to be like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. If something happened, it is what it is. But that's how I grew up and raised. She wasn't raised like that. She has to get something talked about to be, you know what I'm saying? And I was always against that. Like, you want to talk? Fuck that. I don't care. You take it how you want it. But because I cared enough and we had such a bond and a friendship, I just felt like, you know what I'm saying? I was open to doing that. And it kind of grew and made me, like, better at being able to vent. And we both be able to conversate and stuff like that. So I realized, okay, I have strength in it, so I don't feel weak about talking about anything anymore. Before, like, you asked me this probably, like, 10 years ago, fuck that. I
talk
don't
about
even
it. Right. That's all right. So you definitely feel like she's helped you, you know, grow into like the person that you are, even you know, athletically and stuff like that.
Like other than the sport, I feel like that's on me.
Right.
But she adds to me with just on my life of, let's say the emotional part. I feel like my dad was always. I didn't grow up seeing a lot of affection and stuff like that.
Did you grow up with both parents? Okay.
Yeah, my dad. You know, he had other kids and stuff like that. But like us being affectionate and stuff like that, and seeing that with the parents, my mom was like to me Queen Latifah. She was the tough one. Like she's the one that's gonna cuss you out, fight you, and this and that. My dad was the quiet one. He was a sit back. He'll go work and whatever. But my mom was the one that was the rock.
She's a dog.
Yeah, she was the dog. So like when it comes to like you think your dad gonna get on you, my mom gonna get on you. Right. Like for real, she's like to step to you and ready to fight. So like just like not having that and being that tough. My girl was like opposite. So she was more sensitive and open and stuff like that. So I had to learn to not be like that, but I had to learn to make that part of me available. So once I started breaking into that and okay, it ain't that bad. You know, because before it would feel like it's soft from my type of upbringing. It's like, yo, I'm fighting for the streets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Around, like, there's another thing going back. I'm going to pause that for a second because, you know, being in Highland Park, the streets is there all the time. So, like, even training in the gym, you only train for a few hours. Yeah. And you got to go right back to the real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, going to school and being raised with everybody who's doing everything, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who's doing drugs or killing or doing this and that, it's like, you only got 2 or 3 hours to be escaped from that. And then you right back to it with the friends like, yo, you trying to go hang out, trying to do that. So like,
and you really don't even have that escape, honestly.
Yeah, you really don't. It's like you really got to make your mind and tell yourself that you want to do something else when it's time to do this. So sometimes you get caught in it. Sometimes you still do it. But then, you know what I'm saying, there's a chance that you can be, your life can be taken or you can be an example like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But that's the hardship. But just like as a fighter coming up, it's like, yo, you always got that chance of being taken away. You know, but them few little hours is like it's not over.
Right.
People think you're in the gym all day. You box. You all there 24/7. Like nah.
Right.
Midnight. We out here in the streets.
Right.
The champ,
man. So like man, tell the folk what's next for you, man. And what we should look forward to.
Looking forward to a knockout.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely want to knock out.
I feel like,
man.
you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm back to me. You know, I touched the waters in my last fight. I got a lot of shit off my chest. I mean, after we explained today, you got to see what I've been going through, why I laid low, why I had to focus, because I never been the one to really be as open yet. I feel like I'm an open person. When you know me, you know me. You know what I'm saying? You know I can joke around even though this motherfucker like to push me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to, show the world a little more of me. And I feel like I'm back to that same person, you know what I'm saying, I was before and better because I went through some shit. So now going forward, I see I'm about to dominate. I'm ready, be the best version of myself. The chosen one's ready to take over. That's just how I feel.
Yes,
I'm really showing I'm not done. I'm at the peak of my game on 28. This is where the prime start. I feel like LeBron on the Heat right now. This is I might have to put the evil mask on for a little bit.
Yes, sir. That's what we need to see, man. Hey, y'all heard it here first, man. We getting a knockout next fight too. Yeah. Next fight.
19 wins.
Yeah. I gotta get to that 20. I just feel like that's the milestone.
Yeah.
Right. I see that dub, like, yo, I made it to 20.
Right.
Then we gonna get to the rest.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
Definitely appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
for
thanks,
real.
man.
It's dope, man.
This is dope too. I appreciate you.
Number 1 boxer in Richmond.
Number 1.
I'm stamping it.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
For real.
That belt gonna solidify. I gotta bring that back. I mean, I brought one back, but I gotta bring that number one.
We gonna bring you back when the belt, definitely when the belt comes.
Definitely
gonna do that. We might even come to the fight.
Yeah,
for real, man.
Yo, don't be surprised to see the sponsorships on the shorts, man. We gonna have the.
I'm a lot.
You know, Pig and Brew.
Yes,
any
sir.
given Sunday, all that on
yes,
there.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We represent when we go out.
Yes, sir.
All my baby pictures, I had basketball, so I pretty much had a ball all my life.
Around here, man, I'm not a baller, but we used to get it in.
Bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym?
Oh, nah, that's all. I mean, that's why I came up on what we call it. In my neighborhood, we call it the Crucker. So yeah, it's just a Crestwood. It's just an outside park we go, and we pretty much slave on that jump from sun up to sundown. Yeah, we get it in for sure. Yeah, that's where majority of my toughness came from, was playing outside.